Adam Grant's new book, Hidden Potential, is an inspiring call to recognize that for every early bloomer like Mozart, there are many late bloomers like Bach whose talents are nurtured over time. The book is full of exciting stories, great insights, and surprising study results. In this summary, you will learn how to get the most out of your abilities, excel in disciplines you thought you had no talent for, and how to recognize the hidden potential of others. Here are the 10 biggest ideas of the book. Number 1. Embrace discomfort. Most people think that you either have talent for a particular skill or not. One great example for this common belief is learning languages. Many people think you are either good at learning languages or you're not. Meet Sarah Maria and Benny, two polyglots who have mastered speaking multiple languages. Their stories shatter the common belief that language learning ability is innate and that it declines after adolescence due to biological limitations. Today, Sarah Maria speaks 9 languages with varying degrees of fluency, having learned 6 from scratch in less than 10 years. Benny was skeptical of his language abilities for a long time, since he could only speak 1 language until his early 20s. Now he speaks 7 languages, including Klingon from Star Trek. Sarah Maria's strategy to finally speak Spanish after many attempts to learn it involved embracing discomfort by moving to Madrid and living with a Spanish-speaking family, forcing her to use the language daily. Benny's approach to learning a new language involves setting ambitious goals, but he does not set himself the goal of learning a certain number of words or mastering a tense perfectly. When Benny is ready to start learning a new language, he sets the ambitious goal to make at least 200 mistakes a day. His mantra, the best way to stop feeling uncomfortable when you make mistakes is to make more mistakes. The key message here is, it is not so much talent that plays a role whether we become good at something, but our ability to expose ourselves to the uncomfortable feeling of making mistakes. Number 2. Be a sponge. If you can unlock your potential hinges on 2 key habits. The first is how you acquire information. Do you react to what enters your field of vision, or are you proactive in seeking new knowledge, skills, and perspectives? The second habit for successful skill acquisition is the goal you're pursuing when you filter information. Do you focus on feeding your ego or fueling your growth? Adam Grant calls people who do these 2 things sponges. One key element of becoming a sponge is to ask for constructive feedback. But getting effective feedback on personal development is challenging due to people's reluctance to share constructive criticism. People often confuse politeness with kindness. For example, in one study, when people had food in their teas, only 2.6% had the decency to point it out. Therefore, to enhance the quality of feedback received, instead of asking for feedback directly, it is more beneficial to ask people for advice, as this approach encourages more actionable and forward-looking guidance. When Adam Grant, the author of the book, finishes a draft of a book chapter, he would send it to a group of trusted colleagues. His first request is for a score. He asks the readers to independently rate his work on a scale from 0 to 10. No one ever says 10. Then he asks how he can get closer to 10. Being a sponge means proactively seeking out information and using feedback to improve your performance. Number 3. Be an imperfectionist. The pursuit of perfection is not necessarily beneficial for personal or professional growth. Perfectionists often hinder their progress by fixating on irrelevant details, avoiding challenging situations that could lead to failure, and excessively criticizing themselves for mistakes. True mastery, on the other hand, involves recognizing and tolerating flaws, focusing on meaningful challenges, and viewing mistakes as opportunities for future improvement. Extensive evidence shows that it's having high personal standards and not pursuing perfection that fuels growth. But what does high personal standards mean? Is it just enough to simply do your best? No, we have to be more specific than that. For example, Adam Grant uses a scoring system for his own work. And the target score for a book chapter is much higher than for a social media post. Not everything you do has to score 10 points. Number 4. Deliberate play. Deliberate practice is a highly structured and purposeful approach to skill development, characterized by specific challenging goals. It involves focused, repetitive practice of tasks, immediate feedback on performance, and continuous adjustment of techniques. Deliberate practice requires a high level of effort, concentration, and often the guidance of a skilled teacher or coach. But research shows that this can result in burnout from overload and bore out from understimulation. While deliberate practice is key for achievement, overdoing it can strip the joy from the activity, turning it into a tedious exercise. Therefore, the most effective way to develop skills and unlock hidden potential is not through long, monotonous practice. Instead, we should transform practice into a source of daily joy, as reflected in the term play, used for musical practice. Deliberate play is a structured activity that's designed to make skill development enjoyable. It blends elements of deliberate practice and free play. Like free play, deliberate play is fun, but is also structured for learning and mastery along with recreation. That's the coaching style of Brendan Payne, the personal trainer of NBA player and four-time champion Stephen Curry. Brendan's coaching philosophy is rooted in the belief that practice shouldn't be boring, but a playful challenge against one's past self for continuous improvement, constantly varying the challenges to enhance learning and growth. This approach has proven effective not just in basketball, but in diverse fields, showcasing the power of engaging varied practice in unlocking potential. Number 5. Taking a step back. One of the most frustrating parts of owning a skill is getting stuck. Instead of continuing to improve, sometimes we start to stagnate. But not only that, before our performance improves again, it declines. Studies show that when people's skills stalled in tasks ranging from Tetris to golf to memorizing facts, they didn't usually ascend again until after they had deteriorated. This suggests that to overcome a plateau and continue improving, one might need to retreat slightly before finding a new, more effective approach to progress and reach the peak of their abilities. A great example for this is typing. In typing, you probably level off around 30 to 40 words per minute. No matter how hard you practice, you hit that wall. If you want to double your pace to 60 to 70 words a minute, you have to try a new method, typing without looking at the keyboard. But before you can speed up, you have to slow down, because it takes time to learn the keys by heart. When you get stuck on your way up to a mountain, it's better to shift into reverse and try a new route. Number 6. The coaching effect. Teaching others can build our competence. Psychologists call this the tutor effect. And it's true, even for novices. The best way to learn something is to teach it. The same is true not only for cognitive skills, but also for character skills. When we encourage others to overcome obstacles, it can help us to find our own motivation. When preparing for his first TED Talk, Adam Grant felt anxious. He went to his 8-year-old daughter Joanna, who was notably shy at the time, and asked her for advice. Joanna suggested that he should focus on a smiling, nodding audience member when giving his talk. When Adam Grant came home after the talk, he was thrilled. He told his daughter how a cheerful face in the front row boosted his confidence during his keynote speech. Later, facing nervousness in her school play, Joanna, instead of seeking her parents' guidance, recalled her own advice. Spotting her parents in the audience, she smiled broadly. This moment marked a significant shift for Joanna. Her self-assurance soared. Soon she was eagerly participating in presentations and receiving accolades from her teachers for her composure and confidence. This is the coaching effect. We are more confident in our ability to overcome struggles after guiding others through them. Number 7. Every child gets ahead. Around the world, evidence shows that whether children get ahead or fall behind depends in part on the cultures created in schools and classrooms. Our experience in school can either fuel or flatten our growth. But how do we create learning environments that unlock the hidden potential in children? For example, the US education system often operates on a winner-take-all basis, where innate ability and early brilliance are highly valued. This leads to a system where those identified as gifted receive special attention, while those labeled as slow face significant challenges. In contrast, the Finnish education system is different. It's based on the belief that all children have the potential to excel, and intelligence comes in many forms. In Finland, there is a focus on providing personalized growth plans for all students with extra support and tutoring for those who fall behind, without the stigma of repeating grades. Another important difference between Finland and the US is that the Finnish educational system is designed to be fun. Finnish education focuses on teaching children that learning is enjoyable, a principle supported by research showing that early enjoyment of schools leads to higher test scores later on. Finnish educators emphasize play as a fundamental part of learning, understanding that it nurtures a love of learning, which in turn enhances both cognitive and character skills. This creates a virtuous cycle where enjoyment in reading increases proficiency, leading to better exam performance. Number 8. Team Cohesion. We often think that the best teams consist of the best individuals. But research on teams reveals that this is a misconception. The best teams don't have the most talented individuals, but the most team players, people who excel at collaborating with others. One bad apple can be enough to destroy team cohesion and thereby team performance. The detrimental impact of a single non-prosocial individual in a team is highlighted through a study of NBA basketball teams. The research focused on players' narcissistic traits. Teams with many narcissists or even just one extreme narcissist performed poorly. This lack of team improvement was particularly noticeable if the team's point guard, a key player in orchestrating the game, displayed high levels of narcissism. The study underscores that narcissists tend to dominate the ball, overshadowing the valuable contributions of players who facilitate scoring opportunities for their teammates. Unlocking hidden potential in teams goes beyond possessing the best pieces. It's about having the strongest glue. And prosocial skills act as the glue that turns mere groups into cohesive teams. Number 9. The Lattice System. In most workplaces, your direct boss controls your career growth and decision-making about promotions. If your boss doesn't like one of your ideas or assumes that those higher up will reject it, then he or she will most likely reject it too. This hierarchical structure often leads to the dismissal of ideas with hidden potential. A powerful alternative to a corporate ladder is a lattice system. A lattice, unlike a corporate ladder, is an organizational structure with multiple paths to the top, resembling a crisscrossing checkerboard. One of those companies with a lattice system is W. L. Gore. In the mid-1990s, Gore engineer Dave Myers discovered that Gore-Tex could potentially protect guitar strings from grit. He created a prototype himself, but the idea was dismissed due to technical and strategic concerns. Gore's lattice system, however, allowed Dave to seek different senior supporters for his idea. He eventually found a sponsor in Richie Snyder, who introduced him to another engineer who also believed in the idea. Together, they spent a year developing the guitar string, benefiting from Gore's policy of allowing double time for such projects. This system also encouraged bypassing traditional hierarchical barriers, enabling the team to seek advice from anyone, including the CEO. Eventually, Gore's Elixir guitar strings became the market leader for acoustic guitars within 15 months of their introduction, representing a unique crossover from medical products to the music industry. Number 10. The distance traveled. In schools and workplaces, selection systems are usually designed to detect excellence. Conversely, this also means that people who have not yet achieved excellence are often not given a chance at all. Yet when we judge potential, we often focus on execution and ignore degree of difficulty and growth trajectory. The economist George Bullman analyzed Florida high school graduates from 1999 to 2002, assessing if grades predicted future success, like college graduation rates and income. He found that the key indicator for future success was students' improvement over time. However, colleges overlooked this by focusing on average grades, ignoring whether students improved or declined. This approach is flawed as it fails to recognize and reward the progress of students who improve after a rough start, because early failure followed by later success is a mark of hidden potential. That's why, when we evaluate candidates, we shouldn't consider the average final grades, but instead look at the starting situation someone had, how their performance has developed over the years, and what distance someone has traveled to get where they are today. This was the animated book summary of Adam Grant's book, Hidden Potential. Don't hesitate to ask questions about the book in the comments. I'll be happy to answer it. If you have watched this far and enjoyed this summary, please leave a like. My name is Felix and my channel is about the psychology of innovation. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.